favorite makeup job because that's kind of like asking who your favorite kid is. So I never answer that question. If somebody says what was my most challenging, probably Mrs. Doubtfire, because I had to do it 54 times and it had to be exactly the same 54 times. So that was probably the most challenging. But other than that, I loved every single one of them because they were all unique and they all had really cool things going on in them. And the movies all made them spectacular. So not a favorite.
Daryl, what's been your favorite role?
One of my favorite roles that I played was a teacher in a movie called 10 Things I Hate About You. It's not. It's just, I know it's a white movie, you would cry, y'all would cry. Trick show. No, it was, because it was like, I was so young looking at the time. So it was like, I was this young teacher, but I was a smart ass. But then I got a chance, they wrote a thing in there with the Shakespeare. And I was like, dude, I could rap this, because I was rapping, so I rapped Shakespeare in the movie. So that was like dope, but that was really one of my fun. It was fun. It was fun. Definitely.
I'm of the mind, much like V. It's so hard to think about what the favorite role would be. But Galaxy Quest is definitely up there. I've done so many different characters, and another one that comes to mind that's up there is a movie that I would imagine nobody in this room has ever seen, called Luck, which was a Canadian movie about the 1970s hockey finals, and it's all about gambling. Sarah Pauli's also in that movie, and I had a pretty sweet character in that I enjoyed playing. It was very visceral, so maybe I liked it because I was able to really, emote and really put my primal nature into the role. So there you go.
I'll go ahead. My favorite role, I think I was going to ask everybody here, did we all start out on stage in live theater? Yeah? Yeah. And I think my favorite, Martok was great because I got a chance to work on it for 5 years, but the thing that has the most impact for me was doing Shylock in a production of Merchant of Venice, because I'm basically a deeply angry person, I think. I don't acknowledge myself that way, but I think people might be right. And I loved Shylock's mistreatment in the Venetian society that he had. I so enjoyed getting back at all the people that mistreated him until, of course, he was kicked out of Venice, and things didn't go well after that. But I loved doing that role. I better see maybe a psychologist after this event. Tell him that, tell her that, try to understand why I would see this. Are there any doctors in the audience? See me after. That's close enough.
And both his favorites ended in lock, if you noticed, both characters. I think, from the theater, my first job was Brighton Beach Memoirs on Broadway, and I got to do that for like a year, and it was just amazing experiences. Neil Simon play. And then I think recently the series of unfortunate events, this Netflix series, where I was a character in like 2 episodes, and they thought it was really funny, and they wrote like 11 more that I got to be in, and I just was like, are you kidding? It was like, it was so goofy and funny with Barry Sonnenfeld, and so anyway, thanks so much. But it was, but probably like those, but then Galaxy Quest, of course, is the one that I just go, God, what a blast that whole summer was. Thank you.
I don't have a favorite. I get asked this question a lot because they recurred with different characters. What I would say is I love the difference between them. like I can't pick a favorite, but I love the difference between them. And I have to say that I can't make that difference without my friends in the special effects makeup department. It's absolutely impossible. It's impossible. Favorite roles, things nobody will ever see yet. I had a theater career before I started doing movies, and theater is ephemeral. It's here tonight, and tomorrow night's performance is going to be different, and the show is going to close, and it will never be captured. And there's something about life and live theater in that it's fleeting, and it's smoke in the air, and it's glorious when it's there, and then it's gone. And you kind of have to accept that about life. So a lot of my really most enjoyable and meaningful performances were done on a night in the dark with no camera.
If I could, I want to answer that question from a completely different standpoint. So I am not a professional actor. I am not a professional filmmaker. In fact, I don't know if I'm a professional anything. But as a fan, these folks that are sitting up here, what I think they've given us, first of all, deserves a round of applause. For Jeffrey, I will forever be pink skin. JG, John, sitting back there, your work has been marvelous. For these three guys up here from Galaxy Quest, I think that's one of the most marvelous movies I've ever seen. Absolutely, hands down, everybody did an outstanding role. I have to say my favorite line in Galaxy Quest is when the alien and forgive me because I'm a little starstruck right now, but they're kind of making out in the transporter room. And Sam Rockwell goes, "Oh, that's not right." My favorite scene. And I fell in love with V at the outset of Face Off. And I went back and I looked at a lot of your work, and I have nothing but accolades for you, V. So from a fan standpoint, to be able to sit up here at a table with these people, to me, is just dream come true.
I want to let you guys in on a little secret. As you see, I'm a clown, always clowning around. In Galaxy Quest, it's a part where I fall and I break my arm. And they're carrying me to the infirmary, and I'm screaming, "Ah!" and kicking. That was rehearsal. I was joking around, overacting, just cutting up, and the director said, "I always film the rehearsals." That wasn't really supposed to be in the movie. Everybody started laughing, and he kept it in the movie. I learned never to stop playing around no more, because I got caught out there. So when you see that, that was really me just clowning for a moment of clowning and got caught.
All right, so it looks like we have time for maybe one or two more questions. Back here in the green shirt.
Was there any what? Oh, okay. Well, first of all, when I auditioned for Reanimator, I was doing a play, actually, and a casting director saw me and said, "You know, you might be right for this." I have no idea why that casting director came to the play. It was at the Zephyr on Melrose, small theater, and I got an audition, and I went in and met this crazy-haired guy, Stuart Gordon, And he said, this is Lovecraft. I went, oh yeah. Yeah. No fucking idea who Lovecraft. I read the material, the Lovecraft story. It's in serialization form. And all I can say is that if I hadn't been doing the play, I kind of wouldn't have been in the zone to do Herbert West, because the character I was playing was very much more vulnerable and broken guy. He was like in a veterans hospital, but had this facade of arrogance. And I just kind of had to do away with the vulnerable stuff and just be a prick, So that's how I kind of got the part. What did I add to it? Well, there are a couple of things that I added to it. Just one was when I'm at my desk alone and I've got the severed head in the pan, or I'm taking the head and I put it in the pan and it fucking falls over. It's like, well, this is not gonna work for the camera. I mean, it's supposed to just stay there. Shit. What am I gonna do here? And then I tried it again when it fell over. And I actually looked over and blessed the prop guy, because he had one of those, one of those stands with a needle on it that you put papers, and I just took the papers off and put the needle in the thing, and it stayed. That wasn't in the script.
All right, guys, we have time for one last question. Oh. Yep, you.
My question is for Jeffrey specifically. You were talking about having to wake up at 2:30 in the morning for makeup. Is there any character that you felt was challenging to bring through the makeup that you had, or prosthetics?
Challenging to bring through makeup. It's always a challenge to bring through makeup, but I was very fortunate that in my, I went to actor training school, and I had a wonderful movement teacher, and he's taught a whole section on mask work. Mask work. He had all of these masks. They were just white, but with different expressions on them, and including neutral, angry, happy, elated, stupid, quizzical, and we stood in front of a mirror and we put these masks on, and we would immediately really kind of feel like how we looked. It was an amazing kind of thing, your posture changes, and it was a very valuable lesson, because really what we're doing is mask work. Everybody goes, how do you do this? When you put this stuff on, you change. It's like if you wear cowboy boots, you feel different than when you wear Converse. You just do. You walk differently, you feel differently, and it's just that square rooted. That's really a really valuable sort of thing. Don't you guys feel differently here? Yeah, exactly. Okay.
How long did your Ferengi cost? Yeah,
Probably about
45 minutes?
Jesus. She looks like that normal.
Oh.
Very cool.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up our time here.
Thank you.
Give it up.
These guys will be at their booths. Please swing by, talk to them. I didn't get a chance to ask about that before. When stop by, get something signed. Come see these guys. They are all awesome, very personable. So enjoy your Ancient City time, and we've got our public tier panel coming up next.